Hello friends, my name is Lauren and welcome back to my channel. So if you've watched or looked at my channel recently, you know I've been talking about the Warcross duology quite a bit, just expressing my thoughts and other such things. So today I thought I would close off this duology kind of week with my overall thoughts on the series. Two quick things to mention. One, if you have not heard of what Warcross is about or anything like that, be sure to watch this video right up here. It explains all about what Warcross is, so be sure to check it out if you don't know what it is about. And number two, I'm gonna get into some non-spoiler thoughts in a second, but then after that I will be getting to some spoiler thoughts. So if you have not read this duology, I will warn you before, but be sure to pause the video, go read it, and then come back after. Alright, starting off with some non-spoiler thoughts about Warcross. Okay, to say the least, I really loved this book. I really liked Amika as the protagonist. I thought it was really cool to hear her side of the story, all about her past, her current issues, and I just thought having the story from her point of view was a really good choice, as we got to learn so much about the world we were reading about through her. I also thought the settings were really cool, especially all the virtual reality areas. I also just really liked in general the characters we met along the way in the story. I thought they added so much value and they just added to the story and made it so much better. Also, this is a big one, but I just loved the story concept. So the story follows the whole virtual reality trend, if you want to say that, but it really dives so much deeper into it and it really explains everything that is going on, and it was executed so well. I thought this story was really well written and highly entertaining. So whether you are looking for a fun, enjoyable story or something to dive a little bit deeper into, I feel Warcross has you covered from both sides. And speaking of diving deeper into, let's talk about some non-spoiler thoughts for Wildcard, the second and last book in this duology. So I absolutely loved Warcross, but I think I might have loved Wildcard even more than that one. I just loved how many twists were in it, how the story dives so much deeper into the whole plot, and just so many amazing things about this book. I loved the new characters that were introduced to this story. For some reason I thought there was going to be like a whole lot of characters, but it was just like a small handful. I really liked how they all added so much value to the story, and I just thought they just made the story like so much better. Wildcard did get a whole lot darker just in general, but man oh man, it was so good. I really liked how we learned more backstories and how everything kind of ties in nicely together, and how everything kind of from the first book and the second book kind of comes together and makes like a whole lot more sense. Again, I thought it was written amazingly and was highly entertaining. So again, if you have not checked out this series, I beg of you, please do. It is so good, you will not regret it. Or if you've read Warcross but aren't sure if you want to read Wildcard, this is your sign to read Wildcard. It is so good. Potentially might be even better than the first book for you. I absolutely loved it. Please read it. It was amazing. Alright, so we've gone through some non-spoiler thoughts from both books, and now we're gonna get into some spoilers from both books. So if you have not read this duology, I suggest you stop watching here. 3, 2, 1, let's get started. So in Warcross, we learn about the Neuralink system thingy and how Hideo created it for his long-lost brother. So once we found out about Hideo's brother's past and how he's never been able to find him and stuff like that, I feel for like a lot of readers, we were able to make that connection between Zero and his brother. For me, I just thought like there's no one else that could be Zero, so his long-lost brother could definitely fit the mysterious Zero figure, which we later learn at the end of Warcross, it is him. So hey, we were right! Well, that is until we read Wildcard. So my friend who read Wildcard seemed to pick up on this, but for me, I definitely did not, and boy was I shocked when we find out Zero is actually not a person. Like, it's just a bunch of like data and code based off of a person. Like, I mean, I can kind of see it now, how we can like switch places really fast, how we can do a whole lot of things that like regular people aren't supposed to do, like just how he knows so much about everything, how he never touched anyone. Just looking back, I can see these small things, but I would never have picked up on it. I mean, I didn't pick up on it, but I definitely wouldn't have picked up on it even if those hints were like picked out to me. I would have been like, maybe he's just really fast, like, but oh my goodness, I definitely didn't see it coming. Also, Taylor, I am shook. Oh my god. As far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure there wasn't any mention of someone named Taylor in Warcross, so I'm pretty sure we were only introduced to her in Wildcard because no one sounded like her description anyways in Warcross from what I remember. And her whole super kind demeanor in the beginning and how she was just like there with Jax and Zero, I definitely thought she was just like someone doing like the technical stuff behind the scenes, but I never actually thought she would be the one running the show. I mean, even though she was when Zero was talking because they're connected, but like, You know what I mean. Some other things I want to mention from the series is that in Warcross we see Hideo, the guy who's like super mysterious and just never opens up to anyone, how he opens up to Amika and starts to tell her about his past, his family, all that kind of stuff, which he's never done with anyone before, or at least that we know of. And I was like, wow, he's opening up, that's amazing. And then we get to Wildcard. And in Wildcard, we really do learn that Hideo has actual human emotions. When he learns more about how his brother is like still alive and could be Zero, he just breaks down. And at that point I was like, Hideo, no! It was so sad. So yeah, in Wildcard, I do like how we got to learn more about Hideo and how Amika and Hideo like kind of made up and talked about this whole thing. I just kind of cleared the air after Amika learned more about what was actually happening and how Hideo realized what he was doing was, well, he kind of realized it, but what he realized he was doing was wrong. I also really liked in Warcross how we got introduced to the relationship between Tremaine and Roshan. I really liked that relationship and how Marie Lou brought it back in Wildcard, even though it didn't end off in the greatest place. Just having them back together again and having them talk and stuff was really great. And in the hospital scene when Roshan found out Tremaine was in the hospital, he was like, he's my boyfriend, why can't I go see him? And like, they're not together, they were together, but like they weren't. But just the fact that he like was saying and telling everyone that that was who his boyfriend is, I was like, aw, I hope they get back together. I think they will be. I think they are back together because they like made up in the end. That's the, yeah, we stand. Oh, and then also, I didn't pick up on this, but my friend picked up on this, in that Hammy and Asher are in a relationship. Like, I didn't pick up on this in the first book at all, and I didn't really pick up on it in the second book, other than like 2 sentences in the book. So I didn't really like notice that much, so I think they're in a relationship. I mean, if they are, good for them, but like I didn't really pick up on it other than like the 2 times they mentioned it like in the story. Ooh, also, something from the first book. Remember how we learned that Zero's plan was to assassinate Hideo, like quoting Amika and whatever? So it didn't work in the first book, obviously, because then he would have died, but we learned in the second book that Ken was working with the Blackcoats from the beginning. So even before Amika was with Hideo, like in Tokyo, he was like plotting against Hideo, and I'm like, wowza. Because Amika then tells us that every time Ken texted her like looking out for Hideo and whatever, he actually wasn't, he just wanted to make sure things were going along with the plan and getting any information he could for the Blackcoats. I'm just trying to think what else there was in these books. Like, I really liked the relationships, I liked the characters, I like where the story went. The whole thing was just really cool, really well done, and I just really liked this whole duology so much. Oh, one more thing though. Okay, so you know how in books, like normally, like either the end is like really full of lots of like cool action-y plot twist stuff, or there is something like in the beginning that resembles that kind of stuff. The middle is normally like filler, right? But I found in Wildcard that all like the really important stuff was in the middle. Like, I just remember there was plot twist after plot twist after plot twist after plot twist. Unless you picked up on that stuff, I didn't, but like, I just was shocked so much within like the span of like 20 pages, it was crazy. We found out like Taylor's running the show, Zero, oh my god, we gotta talk about Zero some more. That the Blackcoats' plan was never to actually stop Hideo's like big mess of things, just so many things that didn't get, like, so many important things just happened in the center, especially like one after another. It was just a crazy time to read about as a reader. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot to mention this. One last thing, let's talk about Zero and everything revolving that. So Zero is based off Hideo's brother, as we know, who was kidnapped by Taylor and all that kind of stuff. Because he was dying of some uncurable disease, but was also being tested for Taylor's experiment to separate the mind from the body. And over the course of many years of basically him losing like faith and just, I don't know, himself in the world, he gave up his scarf from Hideo, which was so sad, and just eventually started losing like his emotions in general. He just started not feeling things and eventually ended up dying from his uncurable disease. However, at that point, I guess Taylor had collected enough data or whatever from Sasuke and just basically was able to recreate him in a different form. And man, what that poor boy went through, I'm like, wow. And the fact that he was like the first experiment, so he was named like Project Zero, hence that's where Zero gets his name, I was like, oh my god. Hideo has been calling Zero, like Zero obviously, from that name based off his brother. And I mean, as much as I suspected his brother to be Zero in the first book, Wildcard just dives so much deeper into that, so essentially I was right. but also very, very wrong. So I think that basically wraps off my overall thoughts and just things I wanted to talk about in this story one last time. I definitely enjoyed this series. I'm probably going to reread it very soon. It is absolutely amazing. So if you have anything else you would like to add to my list of things that were super amazing about this series, be sure to leave a comment below and maybe we can have a little discussion about it, because I know that I just absolutely loved this duology, if I haven't already implied that enough. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I genuinely hope you enjoyed this duology as much as I did, because I know I've said this a lot, but I just loved it so much. Anyways, until next time, bye!